Hi, and welcome to our Kasha Time Warp video. This is a quick deck discussion of Kasha, one of the new champions in the Origin set for Genesis Battle of the Champions. So just taking a look at Kasha, we've got a forward awareness, pretty normal. We've got 22 health, 140 aura, and 0 energy. Our damage ability is an action speed cast, cost exert as usual, and its target champion or summoning awareness loses 1 health and you gain 1 health. And then we have a continuous ability, blood convergence. When if you play an ability that costs health, you gain 1 health. So right off the bat, this kind of stats lead us towards a mage / summoner control direction. We don't have a lot of energy, we have a lot of aura, and we got a decent health pool. And a health mitigation ability, though obviously not something that's dealing with your opponent's damage, but you can gain some health off things. Eric, thoughts?
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind is the action speed of the cast, which is a little disappointing, but it is a decent ability, so losing 1 and gaining 1 is all right. But that does indicate that she does not want to be in the thick of things. She does want to stay back and be that mage / summoner that she is. And another thing is that she cannot deal damage to alterations with her ability. So if she gets trapped by, say, a Hail Chasm, she is stuck unless she can get out.
Yeah, that's a great point. Those chasms occupying the spot and preventing you from moving. Another thing regarding that ability, I think we're more likely to hit our own things with it than the enemy champion. Certainly enemy summons, if they come at you, use Kasha's action speed ability to hit them, but don't be afraid to just drain something. If one of your summons is on 2 health and you're seeing that the enemy champion's always dealing 2 or more damage with everything they do, 2 health is the same as 1 health for that summon, so maybe get Kasha a little bit more health back. Always have that open as a line of play.
Yep, and now we can look at her ability, Blood Convergence. This ability will reduce the health cost of well, actually, it doesn't technically reduce the health cost. You pay the health, and then you gain it immediately right back, or actually faster than immediate.
Yes.
Which is
continuously.
Which is an important timing. And this is also important for something like Drawbreak that wants you to lose life. So you pay that life, immediately get it back, and you can get any triggers that are associated with that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of critical that it's not reducing the life you pay. It's actually letting you pay the amount of life and then gaining it back, because that is the break synergy, the drawbreak synergy that we love so much with this champion. Another important thing to note, I guess, is while we're talking about it being continuous, is that you can pay that 1 HP life cost while you're on 1 HP. Because it's a continuous, it's not using the stack, so the only way it can work is by modifying something as it happens, which means it's going to modify your life payment and have you do a little gain life in the midst of that life payment. So a little maybe unintuitive when you're just reading it, but important thing to know that if you're on 1 or 2 life with Kasha and you want to pay all your life for an ability, you're not actually out of luck just yet.
And you can't lose 2 life when you're at 1 life.
Yes, that's another thing. Yeah, because the payment of life, you have to pay the full amount. It's not something you can do partially, which that was the way it would work if she did reduce, but she doesn't. But yeah, I mean, any thoughts on I guess how a health cost how is a health on cards cost, how does that usually play out to you, Eric?
Yeah, so as we can see in this next bullet point is health is used as a cost in a lot of these cards, as instead of something like aura or energy. And so being able to use health more often, more frequently for costs for payments means that you can play more cards as the game goes on. And Kasha already has a very high aura pool, so this allows her, so she can really go long by getting cheaper cards, cheaper aura cards that cost health, but and mitigate the health.
Yeah, so it's just kind of another reason, even though we're not in blue, this is a champion that likes to kind of go long and have access to more cards, because playing into her strength means you're going to be paying less aura for things because you're paying life. but then you have 140 aura. So it's like, okay, give me all the cards. I'm gonna play them all. Like,
Yeah. And speaking of all the cards, let's look
oh,
at
no.
some of the cards. I think first up, one of the cards that comes to mind and probably one of the most powerful cards in Kasha's repertoire is Drawbreak. So Drawbreak is an enchantment. You attach it to yourself, and it says whenever you lose life, put a counter on this card for each life lost. Then, at the beginning of your turn, if Drawbreak has 5 or more counters on it, then you may remove all counters from Drawbreak. If you do, then you draw 2 cards and discard a card. So I know we mentioned this card in our Bellum good cards, but it's so good in Kasha that we have to mention it again. Because you want to put a lot of life loss cards in your deck, you can really trigger this a lot. When you have a break, a lot of opponents will try to either just hit you with a lot of damage as much as they can, and just wait until they can just kill you one shot. They don't want to like nickel and dime you, so to speak. But Kasha can really control how much life she's losing and trigger Drawback a lot during the game.
Yeah, it is at the beginning of your turn, and a lot of your strongest life payment cards are going to be at action speed. As the slide goes on, we'll see a lot more action than Swift. But yeah, kind of important to note then, if you're playing against Kasha on a Drawbreak, you want to time, just kind of as Eric was alluding to, you want to time your damage to push them from like 4 counters on Drawbreak to 10 to 12. Try and like time your damage so that, like by the wording on Drawbreak, you have to remove all the counters to get that trigger. It's not you remove 5. So time your damage so that they get the minimum number of cards of Drawbreak is a little bit of counterplay.
Exactly. Up next is a action speed card.
Yeah, so we got Hellchasm. So this is an 8-chi action speed cast. It costs 2 health and 21 aura. And we've got the T-shaped giant scorpion awareness. We're doing 6 fire damage to everything in those spaces. And we're also putting a chasm down. If you're not aware, chasm is a fairly high health. I think it's 6+ health.
It's 8 health.
It's 8 health. It's 8 health. Chasm is an 8 health alteration that has 2 very relevant pieces of text. One is at the end of each turn, not round, it kills all summons in the same spot as it. And also, it occupies the spots it's in. So, like, there's obviously, if you're looking at that awareness and imagine your opponent with their back against the wall, there's the Hellchasm trap, which might be a really strong thing to do, like maybe leaning all the way in to like use some movement tech in that first turn to rush up and try and pin someone against the board. I mean, we put this in Kasha, but I mean, Kasha, as Eric mentioned earlier, can't hit alterations. So Kasha is also something that it might be worth, a champion might be worth rushing to pin against the wall. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts, Eric?
And again, this is another one of those cards like Drawbreak that we mentioned in our good cards video for Chaos, but again, just so good in Kasha because you're paying that 2 health that then gets kind of offset, so you're only paying 1. You're getting a very powerful effect at a lower aura cost than normally it would be for 6 damage and a lot of disruption. And Kasha really wants to control the board because she doesn't want people rushing at her. And Hellchasm can really stop your opponent from doing that. If you can hit them with some damage, lock them in place, and then use your summons or your other spells to whittle them down, that's where you want to be.
I will just to add to what you said, Eric. Be careful with the style of summons if you want to go for that kind of Hellchasm pin, because if you've got someone in the middle of that Hellchasm like triangle there, you can't rush in like adjacent attacking summons to try and kill the enemy champion, because they will die at the end of their turn, because that means they're moving onto a chasm in order to do that. So maybe be a little bit careful with that.
You want some long range summons if possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so this one is not a long range summon, but it is a 3-chi, and we've been kind of harping on these 3-chis being good and playable, which is good. So this is Pain Amp. So it's a 3-chi, 1 health, forward awareness. So it's a beckon cost of 1 health. So it's completely free in Kasha. So
yeah, I was going to say, are you sure it costs 1 health? Because I don't see a cost on that.
Yeah, no, it looks it's free to me.
It's an empty box.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, it triggers your Jawbreak for free.
Yeah, I know. The cost is put a counter on Drawbreak is what the cost is.
Exactly. And it comes with a action 2 heavy fire attack or a swift cast 1 fire damage. This is a 3-chi card that can hit Angel, which is important to note. But again, it's just a completely free summon, and we've seen free summons like Cabas be played a lot because it kind of breaks that parity when no one can play cards at the end of the game, and Kasha won't have any issues playing Pain Imp because she can play him even at 1 health. So always be something you can play.
Yeah, and obviously not as immediately aggressive as Cabas, because like the 2 damage aspect of it, Cabas can just do that at swift speed. Pain Imp has to do that at action. But what we're getting, especially with a champion like Kasha, is advantage in the early game. I mean, even in other champions which are paying just 1 health, it's solid. But for Kasha, paying nothing, it's like a Cabas that doesn't cost you discard, which, I mean, that sounds like a great Cabas to be having, like just the empty cost box. So yeah, very happy about paying him. Look at this cute little guy.
Yeah. Is he as good as this guy? Blood Rakshasa.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Blood Rakshasa. I mean, so this is kind of, we're moving up the curve here, right? We've gone from 3-chi to 5-chi. We've gone from 1 health to 2 health payment, and we got 9 aura in the mix as well. But I mean, 5-chi and 9 aura for a summon at action speed, that sounds pretty familiar, because that's like, I think, where we're kind of settling for the 3 health, 3 damage summons. But Blood Rakshasa here, we got a fire attack 4 at swift speed, so we're getting 1 more attack, 1 more health, and it's asking us to pay 2 health, basically, is the transaction cost for getting that, which, you know, that is really, really solid. And then again, yeah, with Kasha, with Drawbreak, I mean, 1 health and 9 aura for all we just mentioned. What's not to love?
1 health, 2 counters. And again, this is another Kasha card that was also mentioned in our good cards video, but it's too good in Kasha not to mention. This is going to be a very strong card.
Absolutely. I guess for our final card for Kasha, Eric, do you have a blast from the past for us?
Yes, so this is not a new card. This is an old card from Raze, Engulfing Wrath. So this is a 4-chi forward awareness. Swift, you deal 2 dark damage to a target Engulfing Wrath's awareness. It also has Desperation Modify. If you're at 8 health or less, then you deal 2 dark damage to everything in Engulfing Wrath's awareness. We're not too interested in the Desperation Modify. We are interested in is the 1 health cost. So this, again, with Kasha, we don't have to worry about the 1 health cost. It's just 8 aura, deal 2 damage. At swift speed, which is perfectly fine. Trigger Drawbreak, deal you 2 damage. Hopefully you can get access to race cards if you want to play Kasha.
Yeah, maybe if you're interested in Kasha, maybe grab those raids cards early now, before everyone else realizes. Because yeah, not reprinted Origins, unfortunately, and such a sweet card. I mean, just like Kasha gets to play Windslash. I mean, she could also play Windslash the normal way, but she gets to play Windslash without any of the energy costs. And for a 0 energy champion, that is incredibly important. To not have any the energy costs. Also, because I don't want to flip my cards into my memories. I want to draw them with draw breaks. So Engulfing Wrath, yeah, a huge role player. I'd say don't fall into the trap of thinking that, oh, I need to be 8 health for this to be good. 2 damage with that forward awareness, like that is just good. That's a good card. That is just a good card.
Yep. I think the 3 aura extra over the 2 energy of Windslash is worth it, right? Because you have that aura pool and you're going to be drawing a lot of cards with Drawbreak. So yeah, it's definitely worth it.
So yeah, that was our Kasha, I guess, preview vid. These are some of the cards that we think of when we think of Kasha, and we love her. She's awesome. So hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the next video.